Right Side Nation, Mike Hanley here with RightSideNews.com. Today is September the 4th, and we found out yesterday that Colin Kaepernick was named the spokesperson or the head of Nike's 30th anniversary ad campaign. And it's an interesting pick, and we're going to go into a little bit about the background of them going with Colin Kaepernick and kind of some of the backlash that we're currently seeing. But first, I kind of wanted to jump into a little bit about who Colin Kaepernick is. And then I'll show you a little bit about the ad campaign, talk a little bit about Nike stock, show a little bit about Colin Kaepernick and his history, and then some of the financial implications of what is going to happen with Nike since bringing on Colin Kaepernick for the 30th anniversary ad campaign. So first, I wanted to start with talking about Kaepernick. So Kaepernick went to the University of Nevada. I remember watching him play a little bit. He would play on Friday nights. Pretty darn good player. He ran the read option when he was down at the University of Nevada, and eventually, well, he earned a scholarship, as you can see here if you look at the last sentence under recruitment, and he ended up going there on full scholarship. So Kaepernick ends up getting drafted by the San Francisco 49ers and is playing behind Alex Smith. So move forward in 2012, Kaepernick goes to the Super Bowl and plays against the Baltimore Ravens. And that was the peak of his career. And from that point, it was pretty much downhill. He ended up getting replaced by Blaine Gabbert. And then after he got replaced by Blaine Gabbert and his play was deteriorating, that is when we saw more and more of the Colin Kaepernick anti-American, anti-national anthem stand. The stand he took was really taking a knee, is really what happened. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the ad that was that is put together by Nike. So it's believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And what I think they're referring to in this particular case is Colin Kaepernick, because he believed in his movement, or he believed in what he was doing in terms of his SJW stance. Essentially, he didn't care. He was sacrificing his NFL quarterback career. Now, I don't think that's necessarily the case, and the reason I don't think that's the case is because Colin Kaepernick was struggling even prior to him coming out as this SJW and anti-national anthem SJW. So I was thinking, especially in regards to all the different athletes that Nike has. I mean, think about all the different athletes that Nike sponsors and the sponsors and the money that they pay their athletes. So you have LeBron James, you have Serena Williams, uh, I believe you still have Tiger Woods. So all of the biggest names in sports are sponsored or have been sponsored usually at some time or another by Nike. And so I looked into this and I was thinking, okay, why would they pick Kaepernick all over the world, in Europe, European countries? We're showing the Czech Republic, Italy, Denmark, England. So these are all the teams that have been sponsored by Nike. And then these are some of the individual players. I mean, you see Wayne Rooney here. Used to play for England. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Tim Howard, Christian Pulisic. Those are American players. Neymar, Brazilian, plays for Barcelona. And some of the former players, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rio Ferdinand, who is from England, Patrick Vieira. So these are just some of the people and the players that have been or are currently sponsored by Nike. and those are just soccer players, okay, that I'm showing you because there was such a massive number of soccer players, and I personally am a soccer fan. That's what I came across. But the reason I bring that up is why on God's given earth would they pick Colin Kaepernick? And I honestly believe because it is an organized distraction by the media and by corporate entities to go against the Trump MAGA movement and the Trump agenda. I really do believe in some way, I don't know if it's necessarily directly aimed at Trump, but I do believe that is this organized distraction by the media to take away from the successes of the current administration, especially because we're leading up to midterms in November. Now, just think, it all comes full circle. I always talk about that. And there's always a method to the madness. And so that's kind of what I wanted to shine a light on. You know, why pick Colin Kaepernick, especially on Nike's 30th anniversary? And so we have implications for this. Their stock price is taking a little bit of a hit, but I'm going to go ahead first and show a little article. And this was an article that I really liked here. And this is from the Patriotic Express. I really like this article, and I'll make just share all of these links in the description. But it gives some pretty good figures and feedback. So Nike share dropped nearly. I'm under the impression that it's 3.2%. This shows 4%, and it's the biggest intraday slide in 5 months for Nike. So it slips to $79. It lost a total of value of like $3 billion, and this is on the day after the announcement that Colin Kaepernick would be the face of their 30th anniversary advertising campaign. Also, if you look here, it talks that there was a poll. Many voters thought 54% thought Kaepernick's protest was inappropriate. So 54% of people taking this poll thought it was nonsense. And then you have the 43 that say it was appropriate. So you have Kaepernick who is protesting the national anthem for essentially the company that he gets paid by at the game he plays in. So it's a pretty gutsy thing for him to do. And in that respect, I do or in that way I do respect him because he is willing to bite the bullet. However, I don't necessarily think it's the right time to do it because you're doing it during the national anthem. And that is the main thing that needs to be noted here because he's doing it during the national anthem, not at another time, maybe at the end of the game or some other time. So here's another picture of what I had showed you a moment ago. Here's his quote. I'm not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. To me, that is bigger than football. There are bodies in the street and people getting paid, leave, and getting away with murder. So, those are some pretty strong words, especially when he's getting paid so much money and he has all of this opportunity and he's being protected by the police. It kind of makes you scratch your head a little bit saying, Colin, come on, bro. Like, if you really want to get something done, you want to unify people, if that's his main goal, which he claims it is, then why don't you go about it in a little bit different way so that we can come together, we can unite, and hopefully become one big family here in the United States. So I'm going to show you what really made a lot of people upset. So this is Colin Kaepernick in 2016, where he's wearing the socks. So this is the view, and those are essentially pigs that have a police hat on. So they're cops as pigs. And so that is really what started a lot of the talk around Colin Kaepernick. he was kneeling during the national anthem, and then he comes out and is wearing these pig socks at practice for the 49ers. So there's this whole firestorm around him. And then, like I've talked about, Nike chooses Colin Kaepernick, right? And they choose him to lead this 30th anniversary ad campaign. So Stephen Molyneux tweets, Nike stock is taking a knee, which I thought was pretty funny. And then this is a keep calm and let karma finish it, right? So basically, people are saying, okay, Nike, you're going to choose Kaepernick. This is karma. It's going to come back and hit you. Here's really what I think is what sacrificing, not everything, but sacrificing more than Colin Kaepernick has. And here is Trump. And this is a pretty solid uh, Trump photo. So believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. And so I think Trump not necessarily sacrificed all of his wealth, but he sacrificed his way of life. And he could have just rode off into the sunset, but instead he stood up for what he believed in, as has Colin Kaepernick. So I got to give Kaepernick respect in that sense. I just don't necessarily like what he's protesting, but he has put a few things on the line. There's no doubt about that. Here's a really good meme which I saw the other day. It's over. It says, just so I'm clear, these factory workers, which are 80% female, this should be for all the feminists out there, are making Nikes for 20 cents an hour and working 70 to 80 hours a week. So Nike can profit enough to pay Colin Kaepernick millions of dollars to speak out against oppression and injustice. And I think this is where he loses people because he's getting paid a lot of money, probably millions by Nike, talking about oppression and that black people are being oppressed, but does he not realize that the people that is making what Nike sell are essentially being oppressed and there is injustice there? So I think he's kind of losing this argument when it comes down to um, that little segment. If we're really looking deep into this, it's like, Colin, what are you really trying to get at here? And if you are making a lot of money off this, why not give that money then to those people? Now, I know Colin Kaepernick does give money to groups, and I'm not saying he doesn't, because he does. I don't know exactly which groups those are. I can't speak specifically to that. But hey, nothing's perfect. And so, I think it's necessary to point that out in terms of the injustices that other people. Here's another solid one. A little graph on Nike stock. So Nike stock price is definitely going down. The swoosh is upside down. I kind of like that one as well. Um, so those were just some of the pictures that had come up, and and I thought it was necessary to point that out. And here's the contrast. We have all of the media who are behind Colin Kaepernick, and Nike is supporting Kaepernick in this ad campaign. And then we have Tim Tebow, who used to kneel and pray, and he used to just be hit and berated by the media. And so it doesn't add up. And like I said, it's an organized distraction campaign. I believe what's going on between McCain, Kaepernick, and now what we're seeing with Cannavale. Judge Cannavale, who is up for a Supreme Court justice spot if he is approved by Congress. And so, we have the media outrage of Tim Tebow basically getting him pushed out of the NFL because he was taking on so much media coverage. And then you have essentially the same thing that happened to Colin Kaepernick. He kind of got pushed out. But I think Tebow was a very positive influence on his teammates and others around him. Even though not everybody agreed with his religious point of view, I think has more upstanding character per se. When you have Colin Kaepernick, who is sitting there kneeling during the national anthem and bringing a lot of negative attention to his team and his teammates. So, what are the implications of this? It shows Nike stock fell 3.2% after its new ad campaign of Colin Kaepernick. He protests racial injustice and police brutality by kneeling during the national anthem. So that stock was one of the biggest drags on the Dow. So not only does it have social implications, but it has financial implications, right? And then here's a cool little video that I saw by CNBC, and I'll go ahead and play this right now. So what you're seeing there are people pushing back on this ad campaign put together by Nike. Me personally, I used to wear a lot of Nike shoes. I do have some Nike gear. I might not wear it. Actually, I might put it on, offer up, or let go. I've got a nice soccer jersey. Unfortunately, I might have to give that away. I also have like a running jacket and some joggers that I think are pretty sweet. But I don't think I'm necessarily going to support Nike when they're sponsoring somebody who won't stand for the national anthem, regardless of their political views. We need unity and we need people to support the national anthem. So um, I just think it's important to bring this up to kind of keep up with some of the social events and bring awareness to what people are talking about on a daily basis. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was insightful. And again, this is Mike Hanley with RightSideNews.com. Don't be left, be right.